तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। We are in Jnaneshwari, chapter 18, and we are in the introductory part of the chapter 18, the last chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, and we are looking at OV number 76 onwards. And here in the previous part, towards the end of the class, last class, we saw Arjuna asked a question, and the question was that there are two paths. One is that of renunciation and one is that of relinquishment. One is of sannyas and the other is tyag. And he says here, Jnaneshwar Maharaj, that which are free from fear of being affected by actions and which conduce to knowledge. Knowledge through thoughts is apara vidya. There is paravidya and there is apara vidya. And the truth is beyond para and apara. See? So apara vidya is knowledge through thoughts. If we just take these 2 points, paravidya and apara vidya is knowledge through thoughts. And a point will come, if some of you who are listening to satsang, many times the same thoughts are repeated. Sometimes we are not able to zoom in into the thought that is being presented. Sometimes the scheme of thought is flowing, as the Bhagavad Gita is flowing from chapter 1 till chapter 18. And we have lost the plot somewhere along the way. Because we are so obsessed with our questions that we are not open to the satsang, or something else in the world has hijacked our mind and is more important than our salvation, than our moksha, than our love for the divine. And all these things happen. So here we have to understand, just as the lesser the thoughts are in the mind, the more expansive is the mind. No thoughts in the mind, blissful is the mind, which is sleep or samadhi. See? And more the thoughts in the mind, without awareness, then it leads to a strong personality. My thoughts, me and mine, me versus you, and it goes on. But a person, when Mahatmas speak, what do they say? Bhagwan is speaking, we are not speaking. When Mahatmas speak, what do they say? We are not trying to improve the world, we are just sharing what we know. If you want to learn, you learn. They do not take the ownership of your salvation. The Mahatmas do not take the ownership of your salvation, of your purification. They are there to share. The sun is, I keep giving this example, the sun is there. You have to open the window to get vitamin D, to wake up, to be exposed to the light. And what is opening of the mind? To expose your mind to that conscious light, self-effulgent light, or that reflective consciousness. For that light is covered by our thoughts. So the lesser the thoughts. And how do you bring less thoughts? By suicide, by drugs, by alcohol, by sleep. All these are ways of reducing the thought, what do you call, thought constructs in our mind, but they don't lead to knowledge. When we consciously bring about when we consciously give up ownership of the thoughts, when we consciously, alertly, vigilantly do not own anything, renounce everything, and that has to be, it's not by word, it's not by thought, it's from your heart. From your heart, you have given zero value to every damn thing in this creation. Everything. Then those thoughts will not be able to hijack you. Then the eyes will not be hijacked by the form and color. Ears will not be hijacked by the sound. Tongue will not be hijacked by the taste. Nose will not be hijacked by the smell. Mind will not be hijacked by the emotions. Intellect will not be hijacked by concepts, ideas which you have harbored, which it has harbored within its data bank from childhood till now. They are only waiting for an opportunity. When you are at your weakest, they will come up. So renunciation is giving up of the three desires. Tyag is doing tapasya and making sure that you are controlling your senses, controlling your mind. Renunciation is where it has naturally happened. Now you are not worried about it. But that does not mean you are not alert about it. But in Tyag, as न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागे नैके अमृतत्वमानशुः न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन. Again the three desires. Desire of a child, न कर्मणा. Karmana is the desire of projects to achieve something. Na prajaya, of name and fame. Dhanena, wealth. He who has given up the pursuit of these three, for him alone immortality is available. When you are consciously letting go, when you are conscious, you know that it can anytime catch you. You are not established yet. And you are doing your tapasya, your japa, your sadhana. It's like an armor you have put around yourself so that these three do not, even though they are coming, you are always on the alert. This is yama niyama. Asana, pranayam, pratyahar. Till pratyahar is tyaga. And then begins the journey of the renunciate. That controlled mind, that withdrawn mind is now applied to the higher from the yogic point of view. We are talking from tapasya point of view. And sannyasi, he is not trying to control his senses, he is not trying to control his mind, he has already given zero value to it. He is already, sannyasi is he who is not under the clutches of the desire, clutches of the world. His attention is only on the divine. Samyak nyasa is sannyas. He is in the equipoise. And these two paths of natural withdrawal or withdrawal through tapasya both lead to knowledge. And when one has begun on this journey of giving up tyaga or renunciation, there is no fear. There is no fear of the consequences. There is no fear of what will be, where the food is going to come from, where the money is going to come from, where the people, blah 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 blah. Nothing. Total trust. Even though there may be doubts for the tyagi, but he trusts in the higher. For renunciate, there is no question of any fear. There is no question of any doubts. See? So Arjuna's question is that, where are we? They are incantations or of invocations to knowledge, or are the fields of growing knowledge. So through renunciation and relinquishment, through sannyas or through tyag, we can seek knowledge. The more we give up, the more mind expands, the more mind is single pointed, and to that extent its ability to understand there and then, not after some time, not with a lag, there and then whatever is heard clicks. And what needs to be clicked? Every verse, every idea that is presented in the Bhagavad Gita, every thought that you have heard, word that you have heard, it must click the conscious being. It must become a way to the pure consciousness that I am. That is the click. We are not talking about understanding, oh, I understood, gold is the substratum of the ornaments. That is understanding. Here we are not talking about understanding through thoughts, ideas, concept. We are talking about knowledge, and that knowledge is of the nature of self. And if we take thought knowledge also, as it is going on here in satsang, for that also tyag is beneficial. The more the renunciation, the more things you are detached to, even though, like Janak Maharaj, he was in the midst of the world, in the riches. He was the king of the Mithila. But he was a renunciate. He was a Jnani Purush. In the middle of everything, yet not attached to anything. Are we in that position? We got 24 hours light, 24 hour water, 24 hour electricity, 24 hour everything. We got a house, we got a nice bed, we have got breakfast, lunch, dinner, we don't have to think. Have we become used to it? That if we have to go and sleep in a temple or in a mountain somewhere, or go into the bushland and sleep in a tent, and there, oh my God, why did I come to the camp? I think I should have stayed in my bed in the house. Can't. You have got attached to your bed. You have got attached to your pillow. You have got attached to your routine. You have got attached to your clothes. You have got attached to cleanliness. You have got attached to everything that is becoming a hindrance and erupting as a thought in your mind and keeping you away from being yourself. Think. Contemplate. So he says, so I should request the Lord to explain which of these two paths can bring salvation. Deliberating like this, Arjuna asked Lord Krishna to enlighten him about the nature of these two. Chapter 18 contains the reply of the Lord to this question of Arjuna. In this way, according to the law of cause and effect, one chapter gives birth to another. That we have seen, how chapter 1 has unfolded into the next chapter, and now we have reached the 18th chapter, which is the essence of all. Now I have given you some understanding between renunciation and relinquishment, but we will see what Lord is going to say. So he says, Bhagwan says, now listen well to the question which Arjuna asked. Oh, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, what the Lord said at the end of the last chapter made Arjuna sad. So now what did he say to Arjuna in the last chapter? Let's see. We read from verse 70, OV 76 onwards. He says, तरी पंडुकुमारे तेणे देवाचे सरते बोलणे जाणोनी अंतःकरणे काणी घेतली एरवी तत्वविषयी भला तो निश्चितू असे कीर जाहला परिदेवो राहे उगला ते साहावेना वत्स धालया ही वरी धेनून वचावी दुरी अनन्य प्रीतीची परी ऐसी आहे तेने काजे वीणही बोलावे ते देखिले तरी पाहावे भोगिता चाड दुणावे पण पढियंत या ठाई ऐसी प्रेमाची हे जाती आणि पार्थतवतेची मूर्ती म्हणवनी करुला हे खंती उघेळपणाची. He says in the 76th verse, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying he had understood perfectly well the knowledge of the self imparted by the Lord, yet he could not bear to see that the Lord remains silent without resuming his talk. Where did the Arjuna understand about the self? In the 15th chapter it was about the Purushottama. Purushottama means the Uttama Purusha, the Supreme Person. Then in the 16th chapter it was Kshara Akshara. See? And it became clear to him. Now he has had the darshan also. Yet he could not bear to see that the Lord remained silent without resuming his talk. Topic over. So, here Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, even when the calf has drunk the milk to his heart's content, it does not wish to be separated from the cow. What is that verse? Where are we? 1 minute, I'll tell you. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनंदनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धम गीतामृतम महत्. The Lord Krishna has brought out he has milked the Upanishads and given the creme de la creme to Arjuna by way of Bhagavad Gita. Then it says, Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amrutam Mahat. And Partha is the calf who is drinking the milk, who is drinking the nectar of the Gita, which is nectarine, which is immortal in nature. And this is the bhav that is being Jnaneshwar Maharaj is presenting here. Okay. So he says that Even when the calf has drunk the milk to its heart's content, it does not wish to be separated from the cow. He wants to get more. He wants to be in the presence. He wants to keep sucking. He wants to get more, more, more. This is what Parikshit Maharaj is doing with Shukdev Ji Maharaj. Sometimes, for an unprepared mind, silence is deafening. If we have the perseverance to remain silent in the presence of silence, knowledge will dawn. I used to go to Vrindavan many times. Still I go, but early in 2002, when I was there for 2-3 months in an ashram, at that time I came across a Mahatma. Someone took me to him, Swami Satyanand Saraswati. The moment I saw him, I fell in love with him. He looked like such a beautiful personality. And he is sitting here, and on the side table, he has got some sweets, and there is a plaque. And the plaque says, "If you understand my silence, you will understand God." And he used to meet people only from 6 to 6:30 every day. He will not meet anyone during the day. Or after 6:30, if he asks 1 or 2 people to stay back. And if he gives you prasad, you take the prasad, you do namaskar to his deity in the next room, and you go out. You are not allowed to stay back. Or you should not. That's what all the sevaks there, they will push you out. And me, like a young rangroot, I went and forget about silence and you will understand God. I am asking question after question after question. And the first day when I met him, he said, wait. I just held his hand, I pressed his feet. That time he was in his 70s. Pressed his feet, and I am enjoying being in his presence. He started playing with my hair. And he said, wait. He gave everyone prasad and everyone was sent away. I stayed with him till 7:30 I was there. And he says, you come tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Next day I went 3 o'clock. Till 6:30 I was there. The day after, again he called me at 3 o'clock. Till 6:30 I was there. And he was pouring it out to me. His experience, his life, what he learned from his life. He doesn't speak. But I don't know what affection he had. This is like that calf. I remember in my life when it happened. It's never enough. When you are in a satsang, when we were in the ashram studying with Swamiji, the last 6 months, we know time is coming, in 6 months time it will be all over. But last 6 months it was all Upanishads and Panchadashi going on. And Upanishad, as you are seeing, they go direct. We have done the Prakaran Granthas, we have done all the preliminary texts, Mahabharata, not Mahabharata, Ramayana, Yoga Shastra, this, that, everything we have done. Atma Bodh, Tattva Bodh, Vivek, Vakya Vritti, Vairagya Shatkam, this, that, Bhaj Govindam. Now, the creme de la creme, Upanishads are going on. And every Upanishad every class used to take us into deep contemplation, deep ecstasy. And the class is over. Nobody wants to get up. We are hanging to every word of Swamiji. Nobody wants to get up after the class. You wished that it just continues on and on and on and on and on. It should not stop. And some of us did ask Swamiji, Swamiji, can we join the next course? He says it will become an addiction. This is not knowledge. Knowledge is you. But satsang is so addictive. Because nobody praises us. So in satsang, the scriptures are continuously telling us, you are Sarva Bhutatma, you are Paramatma, you are Paramanand Swarup, you are Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarup. Nobody in the world tells us this. So naturally, we love the scriptures or the one who's saying, telling us again and again that we are infinite, that we are good, that we are great, that we are of the nature of liberation, that we are in all knowledge. Acha, मुझे पता नहीं था. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel good, man. अच्छा और बोलो, थोड़ा और बोलो. That's why Bhagwan also has 108 names, or Vishnu Sahasranam. We give 1,000 names. He says, अच्छा, all those qualities are mine. अच्छा बोलते रहो. 108 क्यों बोलते हो? Say 1,000 names. That is our case also. Nobody in this world, including our parents, sees the best in us or tells what is absolute good for us. Only scriptures do that. Only Guru Maharaj does that. And once this clicks, by the grace of Lord, once this satsang vasana comes about, I should say that way. That's the best word. You have vasana for gold, you have vasana for sleep, you have vasana. Vasana means disposition, default setting. Vasana for work, vasana for continuously worrying about your children, vasana about breakfast, lunch, dinner. But clockwork, it keeps happening. Like that, one day, by grace of God, when it clicks that you have the vasana of satsang, vasana of listening to satsang, listening to the scriptures, that day you have been initiated. All this initiation, all that is humbug. True initiation is when we fall in love with the scriptures. We fall in love with the urgency to know the self. That will bring us to the scriptures. That is the initiation. That is renunciation. And this is the situation where Arjuna is at this moment. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is telling that he has heard 17 chapters, but still he is not satiated. See how beautiful thought. Even when the calf has drunk the milk to his heart's content, it does not wish to be separated from the cow. Such is the case of single-minded love, single-pointed love. That one should wish to talk to a beloved person without cause, to see and go on seeing him or her. Love expands with such experience of love. Love is of this kind. True love is of this kind. Unconditional love. What is unconditional love? That love which is beyond cause and effect. Our love for God is because we get something in return from Him. Chant Hanuman Chalisa and my problems will be over. You don't chant Hanuman Chalisa to increase your devotion and to merge into Hanumanji. No. You chant Hanuman Chalisa to remove Sankat Mochan. He is Sankat Mochan. You do Satyanarayan Puja to fulfill your wishes, because that is the MO you have signed with God, and that is not unconditional love. That is a love with a hook. That is selfish. In unconditional love, whether the one whom you love speaks or doesn't speak, does not matter. You are still in love. Whether that the one whom you love, whether he accepts or he or she accepts you or doesn't accept you, you still love. That one should wish to talk to a beloved person without cause. जब दोस्त मिलते हैं, when friends meet, why do they meet? In Hindi or in the Delhi language they say मटर गश्ती के लिए, for no reason, time pass. For time pass, just for companionship. Here you are loving for the sake of love, not for any other purpose. Love expands with such experience of love. When we think of Guru Maharaj, when we think of the Lord, Re Baba, bring that Lord who is in that statue outside into your heart. How long you are going to keep him outside from you and try and engage with that God in the stone objectively? When are you going to realize that the existence of that God in that statue is none other than the existence that you are? How long are we going to shortchange ourselves and keep him away as if somewhere we have to reach? If we have to reach somewhere, Hiranmayena Patrena, remember yesterday's verse? But we are not wanting to reach anywhere, because wherever we have to reach, we are already there. Wherever the wave needs to reach, where does the wave want to reach? Hiranmayena Patrena, it wants to reach ocean. Self-realization, it wants to reach water. So if it wants to reach the ocean, the wave wants to reach ocean through Laya Prakriya, it is already in the ocean. So whatever its destination is, it's already gained. It doesn't know that. Incomplete knowledge. And if it is self-realization, that I want to be the water, it's already water. It cannot gain water. See? That is this love. That is this unconditional love. Having this vision, this love will not come by objectification. This love will only sprout, express when we are in touch with ourselves. Arjuna is already in touch with the self. He understands it. Arjuna was verily love incarnate, so he felt miserable at the Lord's silence. Some people in the presence of Ramana Maharishi who kept silence for days, knowledge happened to them just by merely remaining in the silence. They will ask a question, that question will transport the Bhagavan Ramana into silence, into samadhi. And he will come out of it maybe after a few hours, maybe after one day, maybe after 2 days. But if The one who asked the question was available and did not get frustrated. I asked question and you didn't even answer. You are looking blankly into the air somewhere. Then who can help that person? But someone who is available, it used to click to that person. So when we are in love with someone, we want attention, isn't it? When I was in the ashram, I'll tell you, I'm going into the past, but the topic is such, what to do. When we are in the ashram, one day I made the mistake of giving some suggestion to Swamiji. Unasked suggestion. From that moment onwards, he stopped talking to me. He stopped talking to me. 3 months he did not talk to me. And I used to handle the music system, the microphone and the recording. So the voice is passing through the microphone into the amplifier and the recording is going on. And he didn't speak to me for 3 months. And he won't even look at me. In those 3 months, only I know how much I wanted him to look at me. I'm sitting right in front of him. His chair is there and I'm here on the floor with the music system on my left hand side, with the table in front on which I'm writing my notes. But if anything he wants me to do, he will tell someone, hey, tell that fellow to increase the volume, tell that fellow to start recording, tell that fellow to do this, tell that brahmachari to do that. He will never tell me directly. Then one day I also got frustrated. Yeah, had ho gayi. Guru Maharaj should not carry grudges. So how to get his attention? And that day his throat was very bad. After speaking every day 6 classes, 1.5 hours long, where the gale ka ganda baj jata hai. And he came and he told someone, tell him to increase the volume. I did it. Still didn't come. His throat was not right, what to do? And he coughed. Tell him to fix it again. Again I did. And after 4, 5, 10, then the talk began. Again in between it became bad and some music system was old also. And then with great frustration at that time, not because he was not well, because his voice was not good, because his some flu or something, plus the amplifier is not helping him and he has to finish the course, he blasted me. Brahmachari, if you want to do the job, you do it properly. And I'm looking at him and smiling. At last he spoke to me because I was spoiling the voice purposely. Why? Because I want attention. But it was, I want attention. Here Arjuna also wants Krishna to say something. And from that moment onwards, everything was over. Those 3 months as if never happened. See? When you are in love, one look, one touch, one word. Every night you have to sleep with SMS. Good night, darling. 3 days she says good night, darling, and 4th day she doesn't say anything. You won't sleep whole night. That is love. So this Arjuna, he wants to continue immerse himself in the nectarine words of the Lord. And suddenly the flow of Gita had come to an abrupt halt, as if whatever had been told was told, and he wanted to hear more. So here Jnaneshwar Maharaj says that just as one looks into the mirror and enjoys seeing one's own form in it, so Arjuna was enjoying the highest spiritual reality, that is Brahman, through the medium of this conversation. And that is exactly what we are doing, isn't it? By taking the Upanishad, by reading the words, by expanding the words, by continuously engaging with this satsang, whether talking or listening, we are continuously in those thoughts of reality, thoughts of the self. And it is so soothing, it is so satisfying, it brings contentment to us, fulfillment to us. Yeah, today is good, because we had satsang. Your whole disposition changes once we are engaged in the satsang. And when the topic is of the higher, whether it is of God or whether it is of Paramatma, Brahman. See, God of the devotees, Paramatma of the yogis, and Brahman of the Vedantis or Jnanis. All three mean the same. They are not different. Just as mother of the children and wife of the husband and daughter of the mother is one and the same woman. Same way Brahman, Paramatma and God, they are one and the same. With what vision you are looking at, with what angle you are looking at, that's all. There cannot be Brahman is higher and Paramatma is lower, or Ishvara is somewhere in between, nothing like that. It's all one and the same. Words create divisions. But when we talk about those exalted words which represent the reality within us, it strikes some chord, an unseen chord, as if something inspires us from within, as if our mind just quietens down and opens up to that fountain of nectarine self. A thrill passes through us. Tears swell up in the eyes. And we can't put reason. It's just because we are listening to the higher thoughts. You take the name of the Lord, same thing will happen. But you have to do it with that consistency. Go from Vaikhari to Madhyama to Pashyanti to Para, you see, all these things will happen. You cannot make them happen, they happen. When it will happen? Will it happen? Tyage naike. When you have renounced the world and you are in love with the divine theme, then it will happen. When the dialogue ended, this enjoyment also came to an end. Suddenly there is silence, deafening silence. Sometimes where conversation is going on, everyone is ha ha, hoo, he, question, answer, this, that, laughter is going on, and suddenly nobody is speaking. What happened? Everyone, kya ho gaya bhai? Someone cracks a joke, then again it starts. How could Arjuna, who had become accustomed to this blissful experience, bear to see it stopped? He doesn't want this student teacher dialogue to conclude. It wants to go on. He wants to go on. He hasn't had enough of it yet. He's soaking in it, enjoying, feeling at one with it. On the plea, therefore, of questioning him about the distinctive natures of relinquishment and renunciation, he reopened the folded cloth. He reopened the folded cloth. That Lord who had enfolded himself. You got a yoga mat, you carry it like your AK-47, you go to the yoga studio, you lay it down, you unfold it. When the class is over, you enfold it. Silence is enfolding of speech. When you are going from Vaikhari to Madhyama to Pashyanti to Para, you are withdrawing from speech. Gross to subtle to causal to transcendental. You are enfolding. You are going back to the source. You are going back to silence. And unfolding means from silence you are now becoming again active through speech. So this Arjuna, on the plea therefore of questioning him about the distinctive natures of relinquishment and renunciation, he reopened the unfolded cloth. He couldn't handle the silence. He wanted to listen more. So he asked a question. And what is that? So this is not the 18th chapter, but the Gita itself in one chapter. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying this is not the 18th chapter. This is the entire essence of the Gita in one chapter. When the calf makes the cow to release its milk, how could there be any delay? How beautiful Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying. When the calf makes the cow to release its milk, when will the cow release its milk? The moment it sees the hungry calf whom it wants to nourish. Scriptures are the mother. They are continuously nourishing us. But we have not accepted ourselves as the children of the scriptures. The mother scripture, who has more compassion than millions of physical mothers put together. More compassion, more nourishment. Millions of mothers put together can give you, scriptures give you even more. The mother scriptures nourishes us even more. And what to say, what to talk of the Lord, from whose mouth these scriptures came. How much more nourishing he will be. But you have to invoke, you have to get his attention, you have to be in his presence, you have to ask the appropriate question. In the 18th chapter you come and ask, Swamiji, you talked about rebirth, you will get only silence. You talk about karma, you will get only silence. Swamiji, what happens after that? Death, silence. Because these are default questions. These questions have not come out of our own contemplation of where we are at this moment. You have read it somewhere and you are asking. How a person asks the question can be clearly seen through his eyes, his or her eyes. Their disposition. It's not, Swamiji, can we please ask one question? Ati Vinaya Dhurta Lakshan. You are not talking about Ati Vinayane. Oh, that means nothing. Teachers don't answer the question. Teacher answers the person behind the question. Scriptures are being addressed to the person. Not to the mind, to the person behind. Recognize you are that. So person who has asked question out of his observation of life, out of his assessment of his self, out of his contemplation, some doubt has come, it has a different quality than a person who is just asking the question because he has got nothing to do. चलो स्वामी जी कोई क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हैं, बिजी कर देते हैं. And what is he doing? Answering the WhatsApp. हमको बेवकूफ़ बना दिया क्वेश्चन. This it has happened to me. That's why I'm saying it. When the calf makes the cow to release its milk, how could there be any delay? When the student is so eager, the urgency is so much, the love is so much, then can the mother delay? Can the Lord delay in delivering what is required? So when the Gita was about to, where are we? So when the Gita was about to end, Arjuna brought it back to its former state. Has it ever happened that the master does not reply when questioned by his servant? Then Arjuna says, what is that? From the 86th OV onwards, he says, where are we? Okay, I didn't read from 81st till 86th, but I have already read. The thought was so beautiful, I just went reading the English commentary of it. We'll read the 81st OV to 86th OV. आणि संवादाचे निमिषे जे अव्यवहारी वस्तू असे ते भोगी जे की जैसे आरिसा रूप मग संवादू तो ही पारुखे तरी भोगिता भोगणे थोके हे का साहवेल सुखे लांचावलेया या लागी त्याग संन्यास पुसावयाचे घेऊन मिस मग उपलविले दुस गीतेचे ते 18वा अध्यावो नोहे हे एकाध्यायी गीताची आहे जय वास रुची गाय दुहे तै वेळू कायसा तैसी संपता अवसरी गीता आदरविली माघारी स्वामी भृत्याचा न करी संवादू काई परी हे असो ऐसे अर्जुने पुसिजत असे म्हणे विनंती विश्वेशे अवधारिजो. You see, even before Jnaneshwar Maharaj is going to talk about the 18th chapter, he was waiting for some word, some indication from his Guru Maharaj Nivrittinath. Every time he is waiting for a cue from the Guru Maharaj. Without that cue, he will not. So now, then Arjuna said, let the Lord hear my request. Mane vinanti vishveshe avadharizo Arjuna uvacha The first verse says, Sannyasasya mahabaho, Sannyasasya mahabaho, Tattvamichhami veditum, Tattvamichhami veditum, Tyagasya cha rishikesha, Tyagasya cha rishikesha, Prithak keshi nishudana, Prithak keshi nishudana. Arjuna uvacha Sannyasasya mahabaho Tattvamichhami veditum Tyagasya cha rishikesha Prithak keshi nishudana. Arjun says, I wish to know the essence of renunciation, O mighty armed Krishna, as also relinquishment, O Rishikesha, severally, O slayer of demon Keshi. So these are the two. We have already seen that before in OV 71, but he is asking the same question. What is the difference between renunciation and tyag or relinquishment? The commentary goes, before I say anything, Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, हाजी संन्यासु आणि त्यागू या दोही एक अर्थी लागू जैसा सांघातू आणि संधू संघातेची बोलिजे तैसेची त्यागे आणि संन्यासे त्यागूची बोलिजतू असे आमचेनी तव मानसे जाणिजे हेची ना काही याथी अर्थभेदू ते देवो करो तू विशदू तेथ म्हणती श्री मुकुंदू भिन्नची पाय तरी अर्जुना तुझ्या मनी त्याग संन्यास दोनी एकार्थ गमले हे मानी मी ही साच. What does he say? O Lord, in truth, renunciation and relinquishment, sannyas and tyag, seem to connote the same meaning, as combination and combine mean the same thing. I therefore think that both these words mean the same thing, namely relinquishment. If they have any distinctive meaning, please explain them to me. Then Lord Krishna said, O Arjuna, they are two different words, but if they appear to you to convey the same meaning, that too is true in one sense. They are two words, but they are also one. How? Wife and mother is two, but it's actually one. Same way. Aham and idam are nothing but the mind. Shiva and Parvati are nothing but Paramashiva. Isn't it? So in similar way. Yeah? But there, so he says that they are two different words, but if they appear to you to convey the same meaning, that too is true in one sense. So what is the commentary continues. We'll read from 91st OV. इहि दोहि कीर शब्दी त्यागुची बोलिजे त्रिशुद्धि परिकारण एत बेदी ये तुलेची जे निपटूनी कर्म सांडिजे ते सांडणे संन्यासू म्हणिजे आणि फलमात्र का सत्य जिजे नो आणि फलमात्र का त्यजिजे तो त्यागुगा तरी कोणा कर्माचे फळ सांडिजे कोण कर्म केवळ हे ही सांगो विवळ चित्त देपा तरी आपैसी दांगे डोंगर झाडे व डाळती अपार तैसे लांबे राजागर नुठिती ते न पेरिता सैंध तृणे उठती तैसे साळीचे होणे नाही गारा बावणे जिया परी. Now The Lord is telling, what does He say? He says, where are we? It is true that both these words are used in the sense of relinquishment, but they are distinct in the sense that renunciation is the abandonment of all actions, while relinquishment is the abandonment of the fruit of actions. What is sannyas? Sannyas is giving up of all actions. And what is tyag? Tyag is giving up of the fruit of actions. So if you know tyag, the second chapter says what? Ma phaleshu kadachana karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So that will be give up the desire for a result, isn't it? Your right is only to act. So act without your attention, without your desire, without expecting a particular result. So where is this person who is a tyagi? Where is his attention? His attention is on the fruit of the action. Whereas in 5th chapter, Karma Sannyas Yoga, who is this Karma Sannyasi? He who has given up the karma itself. He has recognized that he is not the doer of activity. Who is the karta? Karta is who considers that he is doing the activity. Who is the sannyasi? Who has recognized that he is not the doer of the activity. He gives up the karma itself. We are not saying he gives up the activity. He gives up the karma, which means he gives up the ownership of activity. That is sannyas. Are you catching the distinction? The one who is relinquishing tyag, he is giving up the fruit of action. He has not given up the action. Remember, Ishavasya Upanishad also began with first verse is for the sannyasi, second verse is for the one who is taking himself body to be real, the world to be real, who still has an axe to grind in this world. So how he should perform the work? He should perform the work before, during, after as an offering to the divine, without expecting the result. That was what was told there. But for sannyasi, what was told? Ishavasya midagam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Because that sannyasi has got no axe to grind in this world, because for that sannyasi he is not attached to his body or any activity, he allows the activity to go on unconcerned, which means this sannyasi is available. And for such an available person who is not lost in the thoughts of the world, the vision was presented. Ishavasya midagam sarvam. This vision was not given to the one who was attached to actions. Even if it is given to him, it will not click. So you have to determine, are you still attached to the action, or are you a sannyasi? While living in the world, you can be sannyasi. Sannyasi does not mean wearing these clothes. Sannyasi does not mean going to an ashram. Sannyasi does not mean that you have studied all the scriptures. Sannyasi does not mean you have gone to Himalayas. Sannyasi does not mean that you have done tapasya and in yoga and pranayama. All that is humbug. Those who do yoga and kundalini or pranayam, big egos, very big ego. It becomes stronger because I am doing pranayam. I is still there. I am doing yoga. Body identification is increasing. Prana identification is increasing. Chitta vritti nirodha. I am forcing the thoughts from erupting in the mind. I am exercising willpower. Ego is increasing. We are not, sannyasi is not of that caliber. Sannyasi means renunciate. Sannyasi means he has given up karma. Karma is manasa vacha kaya. He has given up the activity at the level of body. He has given up or withdrawn or gives zero value to the activity happening at the speech level, and he is giving zero value to the activity happening at the mental level. Then what is he doing? He is in contemplation in the self. He is with himself. This is the distinction. So Karma Yoga is taken care of completely from chapter 2 to chapter 5. See, where are we? Then he says, it is true that both these words are used in the same sense of relinquishment, but they are distinct in the sense that renunciation is the abandonment of all actions, while relinquishment is the abandonment of the fruit of all actions. So every night when you go to sleep, just before you get absorbed in the sleep, every person is a sannyasi. Effortlessly, you have renounced all actions, all activity, all ownership, just before you get absorbed. If you remain awake at that time, story over. Now I shall explain to you the actions of which the fruit should be abandoned and the actions which should be abandoned totally. Now Jnaneshwar Maharaj is putting words and is explaining that what are the actions which should be abandoned. That is Nishedha karma. Karma is a Nimitta karma, Naimittika karma and Nishedha karma. Nishedha karma is that karma which should not be followed, which should not be done. That means which should be abandoned. One should stay away from it. And Nitya karma, you understand, that which it's a disciplined action performed on a daily basis. No thinking is required. Brushing your teeth, washing your face, taking a shower. If you take daily shower, then it is Nitya karma. Otherwise, it will become Naimittika karma. When do you take? Oh, once in a blue moon, then it is Naimittika karma. There are such examples. Listen to it carefully. Whereas numerous trees grow of their own accord in the forest and on the mountains, the paddy or garden plants do not grow there. Grass grows plentifully without sowing seeds, but the paddy seedlings can be obtained only from the soil which is burnt. See, you are seeing my clothes. Can you see any crease? No. But when I washed it, it came out of the washing machine. When it was drying and I brought it back, it was full of crisscrosses. Full of crisscrosses. One crease going this way, one that way, one that way, one that way, one that way. Then what did I do? It's my daily job. Or every 2 days. What is that? I take the ironing board, I take the hot iron, and I apply the heat and remove all the wrinkles from my cloth. And then what do? I create a special wrinkle. See? This is the special. This is also crease. This is also a wrinkle in the cloth. But it looks beautiful. It adds beauty to the cloth. But if there are wrinkles everywhere, hey Swamiji, what are you? Got up from the bed and came to the class straight away, like us? Huh? Similarly, a forest, you don't need to plant anything. It grows by itself. But people are afraid to go into a forest. But what is a garden? Do things grow by themselves in the garden? Yes, everything grows by itself only, no doubt. But everything has been carefully selected and then planted. And you can go to this part of the garden which is full of roses, to another place which is full of hibiscus, a different scent of jasmine on this side, different bushes here, there are walkways in between. Like we go to the what is that called? What is that in South Yara? Botanical garden. Beautiful. Everything is taken care of. What the other day we went to this Alfred Memorial Garden in Sherwood Forest last Sunday. Oh, so beautiful. Hardly any flowers, but everything green in the valley. At the bottom of the valley there is a lake. And what innumerable number of shades of green. Different trees, different ferns, everything. Every tree was planted in such a way, bushes were planted in such a way that there was a play of colors, a play of contrast. Only green, 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 but different contrasts. Maja aa gaya. But just you cross the road and get into the jungle, you are afraid. I might lose my way. Everywhere there is written, beware of snake in the jungle. In the garden, you know, some path is given there, some path I will catch, I will come out of it. We are not afraid of moving around in a garden. Manicured garden. This is manicured cloth with manicured creases. Same way, here, grass grows plentifully without sowing seeds, but the paddy seedlings can be obtained only from the soil which is burned. So garden has to be cultivated. It doesn't happen by itself. Jungle happens by itself. Last part. का अंग जाहले सहजे परिलेणे उद्यमे कीजे नदी आपैसी आपादिजे विहिरी जेवी तैसे नित्य नैमित्तिक कर्म होय स्वाभाविक परि न कामिता कामिक न निफजे जे. He says exactly what I told you before. Even if the body grows naturally, ornaments have to be fashioned. Even if the river becomes available naturally, a well has to be sunk. So the day to day and occasional actions take place in the natural course, but the optional kamya actions are not undertaken without a motive. Huh? So one is with motive and one is natural action. There is no motive for going to toilet. It's natural. Natural pressure. Try hold it. For some time you can. Try hold your thirst. Try hold your hunger. Try hold your breath. Nitya Naimittika. Nitya is natural actions which are happening on a daily basis, and Naimittika are special actions with some hetu to it. We'll look at it. Oh, we 10 minute hai. Okay. Actions which are not undertaken without a motive. Now, Bhagwan is answering. He has already answered. Jnaneshwar Maharaj already started the answer. But here it is given in this manner. What can I do? Shri Bhagavanuvāca Shri Bhagavanuvāca Kamyanam karmanam nyasam Kamyanam karmanam nyasam Sannyasam kavayo viduhu Sannyasam kavayo viduhu Sarva karma phalatyagam Sarva karma phalatyagam Prahustyagam vichakshanaha Prahustyagam vichakshanaha Shri Bhagavanuvāca Kamyanam karmanam nyasam Sannyasam kavayo viduhu Sarva karma phalatyagam Prahustyagam vichakshanaha. Renouncing of actions motivated by desire, the wise know to be renunciation. The abandonment of the fruits of all actions, the learned declare, is relinquishment. We'll see what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, in what angle he is taking these two, because I have not read it, so I also don't know in what angle he is going to take it. Let's read till OV 100 and it will conclude. काम कामने चैनी दळवाडे जे उभारावया घडे अश्वमेधादिक पुढे याकजेथ वापी कूप आराम अग्रहारे हन महाग्राम आणि कही नाना संभ्रम व्रतांचे ते ऐसे इष्टापूर्त सकळ जया कामना एक मूळ जे केले भोगवी फळ बांधोनिया. Actions prompted by desires involve the performance of sacrifices such as horse sacrifice, sinking of wells, with or without steps, laying out pleasure gardens or making grants of land or new loans, observing diverse vows with ceremonies. All these actions consisting of sacrifices and social works, sthapurta, spring from desire. Such actions involving enjoyments of their fruit lead to bondage. So what is the first ones? The first one is performing actions with a desire with a desire. What is the desire for? The desire is for going to higher worlds, the desire to go to heaven, the desire to merge into the Lord, desire to go to the abode of the Lord, desire to gain siddhis, desire to go to bhuva, suva, tapa, jana, maha, satyam. All these are desires. And for that you see Bali, King Bali, grandson of Prahlad, he wanted to become the the next Indra. So he did the Ashwamedh Yagya. But Vaman Avatar came and stopped him. Same way, Ramchandra ji, he did Ashwamedha Yagya. But his own sons, 7-year-old sons, they captured the horse and they defeated Hanumanji, they defeated Bharat, they defeated Lakshmana, they defeated Shatrughna. And when Ram came, they were ready to fight with him also. Then Sita comes in front. When we take Kathopanishad, we will see there also the young Nachiket. His father is doing has done the yajna, and after the yajna, why? To gain merit. For that merit, what do? You do yajna, you give lot of donation, you give lot of cows, you give lot of clothes, you give lot of wealth and distribute it. But his father, what he did? He distributed everything. But he kept the best for his young son, for his future. Isn't that what we also do? Why should I include myself in it? I don't have anyone. Isn't that what parents do? They will keep slogging 70, 80. Why? I am doing it for my children. Did they ask you? How old is your son? 40 years old, 50 years old. He is a man. He is ready to die himself. And you are still working for that fellow, is it? Work for God for a change. So these fellows, this Nachiket's father, he gave everything, but he kept the best cows. He gave old cows, non-milking cows to Brahmanas, but he gave them with the gold horns. This is called conning the Brahmanas. So you are giving wealth, but they will require more money to maintain that cow. It's like someone giving us cloth. Swamiji, I want to get you some cloth. Get the cloth. Oh, सिलवाएगा कौन? कपड़ा तो दे दिया, उसका मैं क्या करूं? चद्दर बनाऊं? लुंगी कुर्ता भी तो बनाना है. See, that is what Nachiket's father was doing. And this young boy, 6-year-old, 7-year-old boy, he saw the fault in the actions of his father. But no father likes the young son to be right. Well, his father was like that. Maybe there are some abnormal fathers around. And this young son goes and says, Nachiket says, Dad. He doesn't say, Dad, you are doing wrong. He says, Dad, whom are you? He pulls his dhoti. Daddy, 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 papa, 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 papa. Whom are you going to give to me? He says, get away, man, I am doing some work. Again he goes after 5 minutes, papa, 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 papa. Whom are you going to give me? And get away. Can't you see I am busy? After 10 minutes again he comes. This time he loses his head. He says, go, I give you to death. That young boy, this is how the Upanishad begins, Kathopanishad. That young boy, he doesn't take the words of his father as negatively. He doesn't take his father's as a reprimand. He says, if my father has said that go, I give you to death, he must be knowing something more that I don't know. He must be knowing that I know the way to go to death. That's why he told me that I give you to death. So I must try and go to death now. And he goes to the Lord of Death. And then the conversation with the Lord of Death, Yamaraj, and Nachiket is the whole Upanishad. See? So are we in that trap? dan, dharma, collecting merit for my next life. Nobody has seen next life, man. Get out of that foolishness. Realization is here and now, at this moment. So those, here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying that all these actions consisting of sacrificing and social works spring from desire, and desire for higher worlds, desire for something in return, desire for siddhis, etc., etc., etc. I'll give you just one simple example. Everyone who does Satyanarayan Puja does it with a desire. Majority of the 99% of the people. Nobody does it for the Lord's sake. Such actions involving enjoyment of their fruit lead to bondage. And what did we see in Ishavasya Upanishad? Karma, and even in Bhagavad Gita, karma must lead to purification. And what is happening here? Karma is leading to bondage. So relinquishment of your possessions, of your wealth, of your time, of your energies, by way of social service, sacrifices, yajnas, yagas, pujas, building temples, building roads, orphanages, hospitals, giving dakshina here, giving dakshina there. It is leading to bondage. We must be committed to the truth. We must be committed to the self. We are not saying stop it, continue, but no desire for the result. Is it leading to more activity? In and through this activity, am I with myself? कि ढिंडोरा पीट रहे हैं. ढिंडोरा पीट रहे means beating our own drum. I spent the money here, I spent the money there, I did this, I did that, I went for Kailash so many times, I went to this Char Dham so many times, I went to, I have done Jyotirlinga journey 3 times in my life. I met Ammachi, I met Satya Sai Baba, I met this Mahatma, I met that. क्या हो गया? How is it adding value if you have met all this? Who are you trying to impress? We are all culprits of that, isn't it? Sometime or the other, it comes out of our mouth. It leads to bondage. We'll look at what the Lord says from 101st verse in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
स्वामी जी।
हरिओम।